Hello! You're watching movie snapshot scenes, and this is the summary of The Sixth Sense, 1999. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. It starts in Philadelphia on a calm evening. Dr. A, well-known child psychologist named Malcolm Crowe, is enjoying an award at home with his wife, Anna. It's a warm day, the lights are soft, and they deserve to be happy. But their peace is broken when they find a guy standing naked and shaking in their bathroom. Vincent Gray is his name, and he used to be a patient of Malcolm's. Vincent's eyes are wet as he blames Malcolm for not being able to help him heal the pain that has been bothering him his whole life. Before Malcolm can reach out, Vincent pulls out a gun. A gunshot can be heard through the walls as the screen goes black. After a few months, fall is back, but Malcolm isn't the same. His once bright energy is now far away and quiet. He has pulled away from Anna, and she doesn't even look at him anymore. Something has changed between them that they haven't talked about but is heavy. Still, Malcolm goes back to work and hopes that a new case will help him make up for what he did. That's when he meets Cole Sear, a 9-year-old boy who lives alone with his mother Lynn and is quiet and serious. Cole is pale, tense, and scared all the time. His big eyes hide things that are too big for a child to know. Cole is alone, being picked on by other kids, and definitely being tormented by something Malcolm can't see when he first sees him. Lynn is scared and worn out, and she has no idea what's wrong with her son. She loves him very much, but she can't do anything about it as she watches him fall deeper into fear and quiet. Malcolm sees in Cole what he saw in Vincent Gray, a boy who is troubled by wounds that can't be seen. Malcolm starts meeting Cole on a daily basis to try to earn his trust because he doesn't want to fail again. Their first talks are clumsy and weak. Cole doesn't look people in the eye, talks quickly, and often hides behind his words. But Malcolm can't quite put his finger on it. But there's something deep inside him that he can't explain. Malcolm goes into an old church with Cole one afternoon. The boy is sitting there by himself with candles flickering around him. He is talking to himself. Cole looks up with eyes filled with an old sadness when Malcolm comes closer. Stanley is stuttering and he says it again, repeating a word Malcolm had heard just now from his own memories. The doctor is not feeling well. How does this kid know that? Still, Malcolm keeps going. He listens to tapes from Vincent, his failed patient, to look for hints. Something scary he hears on one of the tapes is voices that no one else had heard. Faint whispers. It's the first sign that what Vincent said might not have been crazy after all. Cole's life gets worse at the same time. He starts to see things like shadows moving, doors opening by themselves, and cold breaths coming from places that are empty. He stays hidden because he's scared to tell anyone the truth. Malcolm tries to stay cool and objective. But deep down, he also feels that this boy is being watched by something that can't be seen. They start to form a bond, but it's a weak one because both of them are haunted by guilt, lies, and the ghosts of their pasts. And as the days go by, Malcolm and Cole's relationship slowly gets stronger. Malcolm stands far away and watches the boy. He notices how he blinks in response to whispers, and how his eyes dart to edges of empty rooms, as if someone were standing there. Cole's stress never goes away. He's always getting ready for something he can't see. Cole tries to fit in at school, but the other kids notice how odd he is. Their jokes are mean, and they stay away from him like he's a curse. He stands alone, while the other kids laugh and talk during the play. He seems lonely for his age, and he's going through a pain that no one should have to go through at such a young age. Malcolm starts to see trends, like how the animals around him act, and how the temperature drops quickly when Cole gets scared. In his little leather book, he tries to make sense of everything like a scientist. Child shows signs of severe anxiety, possibly trauma-related hallucinations. In his heart, Malcolm doesn't want to call it crazy though. Something about Cole's fear is too real and constant. Cole finally lets Malcolm see what his life is like one day. Once more, they are sitting together in church, and it is very quiet. Cole says, "I see dead people," and his hands shake. Malcolm stops moving. He thinks he heard something wrong, but Cole says it again. But this time his voice is weak and his face is pale. They're everywhere. They move around like everyone else. They have no idea they're dead. Malcolm felt the words like a cold wind. He tries to be careful in his answer and asks questions like a doctor, not a follower. But Cole's eyes, which are both scared and sure, make it hard to ignore. Malcolm is pulled between what makes sense and what he feels. He knows in his head that the boy is crazy, but there is another part of him that says that this might be the truth that he ignored before. The part that remembers Vincent Gray. Malcolm tries to tell Anna about his progress at home, but she doesn't pay much attention. Now there is a wall of silence between them. She doesn't answer when he talks. He goes to touch her, but she moves away. He's becoming less important in her life, like a ghost in his own house. At the same time, Cole's encounters get worse. At night, footsteps in the hall wake him up. There are flickering lights in the kitchen, and cold air is getting in under his door. One night, he hears weak crying and goes into the hallway. There, he sees a woman in his kitchen with her wrists cut and blood running to the floor. It's tears in her eyes as she looks at him. Cole is scared and runs off, curling up under his blanket as his breath shakes. His mother finds him pale and quiet the next morning. She has a terrible feeling that something is wrong, but doesn't know what it is. "What's wrong with you, baby?" she asks. He just whispers, "You wouldn't believe me." So the boy and the doctor keep dancing between what can be seen and what can't be seen. Malcolm gets closer to a truth that will make him question everything he thinks he knows and make him face the ghost of his past. In Philadelphia, autumn is getting deeper, and the shadows around Cole seem to get longer. His face is always tense, and his eyes are always looking around, as if there were danger in the air. Malcolm, on the other hand, becomes more interested and worried. He plays their conversations over and over, paying close attention to every word and every tremor in the boy's voice. He thinks Cole is telling the truth more and more as he hears. The boy really believes what he says. He might be right after all. Cole is still having a hard time at school. Mr. Cunningham, the history teacher, tells the class that their classroom used to be part of a jail. Cole puts up his hand and says softly, "This is where people used to be hung." Even though everyone in the class laughs, Cole's face stays serious. Even though the teacher says it didn't happen, Cole's voice gets louder. "Yes, they did. I can see them." The words stop everything. As the laughter dies, unease sets in. Malcolm watches from afar because he knows that the boy's delusions are too real and specific to be easily brushed off. Later, Malcolm tries something new during one of their meetings. He and Cole play a game called Free Association. Cole goes one step forward if Malcolm is right about something. Cole takes a step back if he's wrong, to build trust. However, Cole's answers get stronger with each question. Malcolm thinks that Cole is sad because his dad left, but Cole doesn't agree. Cole isn't sure what to say when Malcolm says, "You're afraid," and finally moves forward. He then says in a whisper, "I see those people." The room stops talking. Malcolm starts to look over everything again, including his notes, his views, and his own memories. He thinks of Vincent Gray again, seeing the despair in his eyes and hearing the shaking voice that said, "You don't believe me." It becomes more and more hard to ignore the link between Vincent and Cole. What if both boys were telling the truth? Lynn, Cole's mother, is also having a hard time keeping her life together. She finds strange things in the house, like broken frames for pictures, cold air where it shouldn't be, and scratches on the walls. She is sure that someone is breaking in, but there are no signs of it. As Cole continues to pull away, her fear turns into anger. He just looks at her with that haunted look when she asks him to tell her the truth. He's afraid of what he sees and wants to keep her safe. Cole and Malcolm are following each other through an old church hallway one afternoon. The boy stops at an opening and looks down a dark set of stairs. He says in a low voice, "They're down there. They don't like me." Malcolm thinks for a moment, but Cole turns around and runs before Malcolm can ask who they are. Cole hides that night in his tent, which is made of blankets and religious symbols and looks like a small castle. He prays in a low voice as cold air comes in. Then he hears a faint voice calling his name. The shadows move around. A pale, deformed face of a woman appears like a ghost. Cole yells, and the sound seems to be heard all over the city. Malcolm wakes up miles away with a start, his heart racing. He has no idea why, but he knows something bad is going to happen, and it has already begun. The blinds let in some morning light, but Cole doesn't feel better in the sunshine. He goes about his days like a ghost. He is quiet and far away, watching a world that doesn't get him. Lynn, his mother, tries to keep things together. She worries and is tired all the time because she works long hours. On the other hand, she can feel the weight on her son. She sometimes sees him staring into space or mumbling to himself, and each time it makes her heart break a little more. Malcolm keeps meeting with Cole and tries to get to the bottom of his fears. He thinks the boy's visions might be signs of stress, but every time he tries to explain them away, he feels strange. The way Cole describes things is too vivid, way too detailed. He not only sees dead people, but he also knows them, their stories, their pain, and their hard times. He seems to be living in two different places at the same time. When Malcolm gets to Cole's house in the afternoon, he finds the boy upset. His tent, which was the only place he felt safe, was torn apart. At first, he won't say anything. Then his voice starts to shake. They need help, but I'm afraid of them. The pain and fear in his words still reverberate in the air. Malcolm pays close attention. He doesn't try to explain it away for the first time. He does not speak. Late that night, Cole wakes up again to the sounds of movement and words. He hides under his blanket and holds a small statue of Jesus. The temperature drops all of a sudden. The air gets thick. If he dares to look, he sees a young girl standing in the corner. She is pale and sick and her lips are shaking. Cole feels something change inside him as she gets closer. He makes himself stay instead of running. The girl's voice is weak and broken. She says, "I need to show you something." Then she throws up on the floor, which is a sight that Cole will never forget. Malcolm finds out what happened from Cole the next day. He says in a low voice, "She wants me to help her." Malcolm doesn't see the boy as a patient, but as a link between different places. He says, "Maybe you should. Maybe they don't want to hurt you." That's when things start to change. Malcolm starts to see Cole's ability as a gift instead of a sickness. With each other, they follow the vision to the funeral for the girl. The house is cold, and there are sad people dressed in dark clothes inside. Cole walks up the stairs shaking. He finds a DVD inside a wooden box there. The tape proves what everyone already knew. The girl's mother poisoned her. Cole gives it to the girl's sad father, which frees her spirit. This is the first time he feels something new, at ease. The air feels warmer when Cole goes outside. The fear changes, but the ghosts don't go away. He's no longer just in trouble. He's starting to understand what he's called to do. Malcolm looks at him and is both proud and scared at the same time. He is slowly coming to terms with a truth that will soon alter everything he believes about life and death. When the funeral is over, something changes. Cole starts to act in a different way. He is still careful and haunted, but he seems steadier in some way. He's no longer running away from the ghosts, but they're still there. Malcolm is the first to notice. Cole doesn't blink when his eyes meet his during their next lesson. He says in a soft voice, "They're not all bad. All they want is for me to listen." Malcolm nods because he knows the boy now has a sense of power, which years of therapy never gave him. Cole learns to deal with the dead, and Malcolm starts to heal from wounds that no one can see. He doesn't feel as close to Anna as he used to. She seems to flow through him like he's not there when he gets home. She is by herself at the dinner table, and tears are running down her face. Malcolm tries to call her to say sorry for being so far away, but she never answers. He can't figure out what she's sad about because she moves like she's lost in thought. Malcolm turns to himself because both his patient and his wife are bothering him. The night of Vincent Gray's attack comes back to him over and over. The gunshot, the pain, the blur of uncertainty. But he forgets everything before he gets to the end. He tells himself that he made it through and that he healed. But the stillness in Anna's eyes tells him there's something more going on that he hasn't been brave enough to face. At the same time, Cole starts to see how brave he is. People used to whisper around him in the school halls, but now he walks with quiet resolve. He still has dreams, but he deals with them in a different way. Cole doesn't scream when a boy with a bullet wound shows up. It's okay. The shaking voice of the spirit talks about sorrow and stories that aren't finished. Cole's fear turns into empathy, and his curse slowly changes into kindness. Lynn also sees small changes at home. Even though it's only a little, her son smiles more. He just says, "I'm not as scared anymore," when she asks what's changed. So what does that mean? She has no idea, but she lets herself hope for the first time in years. Cole and Malcolm are sitting on a park bench in the afternoon, while fall leaves blow around them. "What do you really need?" he asks Malcolm. Cole raises his head and speaks calmly. "I have a secret to tell my mum." Malcolm hesitates because he knows that not believing is dangerous. He smiles after that. Perhaps she's ready to hear it. But Malcolm feels something change inside him as they sit there in silence. It's a faint warmth like light breaking through fog. He sees that Cole's healing makes him want to do something he has been putting off. Forgiving, not just of other people, but also of himself. That night, Malcolm goes back to his house. Anna is asleep on the couch while the TV flashes on and off. His words are too soft for her to hear as he kneels next to her. He tells her, "You were never second. I forgot how to be here." He gently strokes her hair, and she stirs for a split second, calling his name in her sleep. It's hard for Malcolm to believe that the truth, the painful and beautiful truth, is just beyond what he thinks he knows. It is now night again, and it is cold and quiet. As Cole gets ready to do the hardest thing he's ever done, tell his mother the truth, The city hums softly in the background. He's kept this secret from her for so long because he was afraid she would think he was crazy. But now he feels ready because Malcolm trusts him. At a red light, they sit in the car quietly. The windows are being gently tapped by rain. Lynn looks at her son and feels something in his eyes. A soft voice tells me, "You look like you want to tell me something." Cole's voice is shaking. "I see people. They have no idea they're dead." The words are heavy and not real as they float in the air. Lynn doesn't know whether to laugh, cry, or scream, but the truth in her son's face makes her stop. Cole goes on, but tears are in his eyes. "They're everywhere. They ask me for help. I try to stop being scared." Lynn's breathing speeds up, but he says quietly, "Grandma says she saw you dance at your wedding." Before she can speak, "She told me you were pretty." Lynn gasps, her eyes wide with shock. That memory wasn't known by anyone, only her mother. Cole speaks again, his voice shaking but clear. "Every day," she said in response to your question. Lynn starts to cry. She had asked her mother in a whisper at her grave, "Are you proud of me?" But she had never said it out loud. She holds Cole's hands tight as tears run down her face. She asks in a whisper, "Are you sure, man? Do you really see her?" Cole gives a nod. "I was asked to tell you she loves you." Every wall between them falls down at that moment. Mother and son cry together. There is no fear or resistance. There is only love and freedom. Lynn sees her boy for the very first time. Cole isn't by himself for the first time. Malcolm finds out what happened from Cole later. The man is happy for the boy because he is brave. Cole says in a soft voice, "You were right. They need help only." He gives a nod. "What are you going to do now?" The boy takes a deep breath and looks out the window. "I will pay attention." That night they say goodbye with a bond that is stronger than any treatment could make. Malcolm feels like a huge weight has been lifted off of him. He feels more alive than he has in years as he walks home through the cool night. Anna is still asleep on the couch when he gets there. The wedding movie plays in the background of the TV. It shows a younger Malcolm laughing and having a great time. In a soft voice, he tells her, "You sleep well, sweetheart." She says, "Why did you leave me?" With a tear in her eye, Malcolm made a face. "I didn't leave you." But then, in that quiet moment, he has an epiphany. He doesn't touch her with his hand on the couch. He doesn't have his wedding ring on his finger. Anna instead puts it around her neck. He gasps for air. He has been dodging the truth all this time, but it finally breaks through the fog. He has been dead the whole time. Malcolm sits there in shock for a long time. As painful memories of the gunshot, the pain, and the fall come back, the room feels colder and heavier. He remembers Vincent Gray standing in front of him, shaking and broken. The gun went off, and then it was dark. That night he never made it through. The meetings with Cole, the feeling of being alone, and Anna's silence afterward all make sense now. He was never alive. When he looks at his wife, his breath shakes. Anna falls asleep on the couch with tears running down her face and the blanket around her chest. "I didn't know," he says as he whispers her name. "I'm sorry." The room has a holy feel to it, with the weight of love and sadness mixed together. Once upon a time, Malcolm's hands healed other people. Now, he finds that they can't touch or hold anything. But his finding brings him peace, a strange calm that takes the place of the chaos. Now all of the pieces fit together perfectly. He hadn't been overlooked. He just no longer fit in with this world. Cole's words, "They don't know they're dead," keep playing over and over in his head. He does now. He gets down on his knees next to Anna, and his voice is really just a whisper in the quiet. "You were never second. You were the one thing I always got right." He touches her on the cheek with his hand, and she stirs and whispers his name. "Cole." She gives him a small smile, as if she could feel him for a moment. His eyes are filled with tears. He says in a soft voice, "I think I can go now. I want you to know that you were always with me." She lets out a sigh of relief, as if a part of her knew the whole time. The wedding movie on the TV flickers, showing them dancing, laughing, and making promises to stay together forever. The picture goes away as a soft, warm light fills the room. Malcolm looks at her one last time, and every beat of his heart is etched into that moment. At the same time, dawn breaks over the city. Cole wakes up to bright sunlight coming in through his window. The world feels soft for the first time. His mother smiles at him when she sees him. It's a smile of confirmation that she gets it. He no longer lives in fear like he did before. He now has a new thing with him, a goal. He goes outside and takes a deep breath of the clean air. After that, there is a tiny whisper that is not of pain, but of thanks. The dead are still there, but they scare him less now. He knows how much they hurt, and that his job is to help them find peace. Malcolm stands in that warm light far away and watches Anna sleep peacefully. He smiles, which means he is calm, whole, and ready. The pain goes away, and there is silence instead. He says in a whisper, "Good night, sweetheart. Go to sleep now." His words fade into the air, and so does he. He doesn't go away into darkness, but into something kind and endless. People don't feel scared at the end of the story. They understand. One live soul and one dead soul finally learn how to let go.